Good morning, guys. Now, I know what you're thinking. First of all, what's with all the meat? Well, that's going to be today's project. It's a lovely, dreary, cold November Sunday, so I thought, why don't we try and make some sausage today? I've been doing this for a couple of years, and it's a great little project to pass the time. Basically, we will be showing everything, starting with our basic meat, cutting up, grinding, up to, actually we're going to work this down to 3 different types of sausage. We're going to be making some basic cooking sausage, we're going to be making some dry cured sausage, and we're going to be making some cooked sausage, such as a French saucisson à l'ail, so garlic sausages. Now, first of all, what you're going to need is going to be very basic. You're going to need some meat, let me get back to that, and some basic seasonings. So for a very basic sausage mixer, you can get along just with some basic salt and pepper. For once in my life, or at least for this project, I store-bought some pepper with the quantities that we need, and you preferably need white pepper, but with the quantities that you need, you're basically otherwise going to be stuck behind your pepper grinder for a long time. But what we're going to need is, well, again, meat. We're going to need 2 different types. That's A, some lean meat, and B, some fatty meat. Now if you're making sausage, so just to start, you want to have in the region of about, percentage wise, between 25 to 33% of fat to about, well, 66 to 75% of lean mass. What we've chosen in this case, that's 2 big shoulder roasts and a few chops that I found on sale at the local butcher store, but basically as cheap a meat as you can get away with. In most cases I usually buy them from, well, a wholesaler near the slaughterhouse. Due to COVID restrictions I was unable, but I bought actually 2 shoulder roasts, which is tough meat, but that doesn't matter. This is all going to get ground up into minced meat, and especially these tough cuts, they're ideal for that kind of stuff. Plus I usually find that they're, well, as the muscles of these parts have been worked a little more, they usually are a little tastier, so ideal for making mincemeat. Furthermore, we want some fat. I have here a piece of bacon fat, and at the butcher's counter now again I asked for this, but they provided me with some very lovely, this is, well, neck fat. Usually very popular in pâtés and other preparations, but it provides for a very nice flavor, and also for a very nice flavor and very nice texture, since this fat is notoriously hard to melt away. So it provides for a very nice texture. So we have about 3.5 kilos of lean meat to about 1.2 kilos of fat, which is right in about the ballpark we want to be in. So first thing in order of business, we're going to cut all of this up into lean workable chunks, and after which grind this up through our meat grinder. So, but enough said, let's get to work, guys. First order of business, again, that's to cut up our meat. We just want to work everything down into some workable chunks. So first order of business, my fatty bacon still had some rind on it. We cut that down and just, well, cut everything up into some workable chunks. Now again, as to percentages, as I said, 25 to 33% against 66 to about 75. Now this is also pretty much of a guideline, so you shouldn't be too anal about exactly the weight. Sausage making, it's still something artisanal, it's not a science. The only thing I would advise, especially around about this kind of stuff, the connective tissue or sinew, try and get that out. That's the only advice I would give, because there is some fat to this, but this is also a lot of connective tissue in there, and that will gum up your meat grinder like nobody's business, and will pretty much give you a freaking hard time. So, but this I'm going to discard. The rest of this is just going to get cut up into workable little chunks, and well, we can get back to it when we're grinding our meats. By the way, guys, just a quick little tip. But what I'm using for today, these are a couple of well, professional grade butcher knives, or at least meat knives for a butcher. If you really want to be serious about this, I would say invest. They're not that expensive if you know where to get them, but invest in a couple of good meat knives. They just do the job a whole lot better than even a good chef knife will. Their profile, the way they're made, they're just meant to cut up meat, and they will go through even the hardest and toughest cuts like nobody's business. So it'll just save you a lot of struggle. Our meat has been cut up, and we're ready for the next stage. That is, grind this all up into mincemeat. That's where this bad boy comes in. Now, another advice, you do have those old-fashioned manual meat grinder dealies. If you're really serious about it, save yourself a lot of hassle and buy one of these. They're not that, they'll cost you a few hundred. I think this one cost me that many years ago nearly 200 euros, but it's been a worthwhile investment, and if you buy a good one, this is one from Kenwood, they will last you a lifetime. Now, one thing I wanted to explain, this is also the part where we can play around with the texture of our sausage. So what I have on here right now, that's actually my medium grinder disc. I actually have, usually the machine comes with 3. So a big one, a coarse one, a fine one, and a medium one. What I'm going to do first of all, it's work everything through the machine. I might show a little bit of the machine working, but it's really noisy. But grind everything through on medium so that you have a nice medium texture, and grind some of it through on, again, the finer disc to get some finer mincemeat as well. Again, this is to do with texture, especially depending on what you want to make. If you want to make something like a saucisson à l'ail, you want some very fine texture in there. If you're making stuff like cured sausage, what we're also making, I will be making a mixture of medium and fine ground. Usually, if it's cooking sausage, you just want some medium ground. Another thing, if you want to play around with making, again, for cooked sausage, a homogeneous mixture, you can pass it through several times, and the mixture will just get softer and more homogeneous as you go along. So again, this helps you. One thing we are going to add while we're grinding is also about 1 nice clove of garlic per kilo of meat. But let's get to grinding. What you're seeing here, well, it's not the greatest piece of video, but it's just a short little demo of me, well, handling the grinder. Just keep pushing down the meat, and well, the grinder will handle the rest of the work for itself. We've ground up all our meat. Now, first of all, our medium grind. So some of it's been medium ground, some that it's been fine ground, but I would advise at least pass your meat through twice before you do anything. It'll just go a lot more homogeneous, sorry. And we have some fine grind. So especially for the sausages that we're about to make with the saucisson à l'ail or the saucisson sec, this is just going to provide for a better binding and texture, at least in my opinion. Now we want to season this up with, first of all, what I have here, it's about 25 grams, so 5 grams per kilo of meat of white pepper, and 20 grams per kilo of salt. So which comes to about 100 grams in total. Now these are our basic spices. You can of course mix this up as you like. Now for a basic saucisson sec, for example. I just forgot when I was grinding, I also mixed in some garlic, so 1 clove of garlic again per kilo. So for a basic saucisson or cooking sausage, this is, well, basically it. Of course you can spice up your sausages as you like. And we want to also bind the meat with some liquid. So what I have here, it's about 20 centiliters of red wine. This is French style sausage, and some water. This will just help to bind our mixture a little better and make for a much smoother mixture to put through our, there we go, wheat grinder. Now, one thing that I want to talk about while we're doing this, that's about, well, everything concerning hygiene. So the short sleeves, the apron, it is not there for show, but this is purely for a practical reason. First of all, I'd advise working in short sleeves because when you're mixing, well, the mincemeat tends to get everywhere. In between things, wash your hands every time because this is very delicate. We want this also to remain cold. So I just spent a stint of about 10 minutes in the freezer. And I think we're about done. So as you can see, it's cold. But as you can see, we have a nice homogeneous mixture that'll make for some good sausages. So we don't want to overmix. We want everything to stick together and get some nice, there we go. Everything to stick together, avoid the air bubbles, and make sure that the spices are nice and well incorporated. Now, next thing we will be doing is I'm going to divide this up into 3 portions, about 3 equal portions. Some of this will be used as is to make, again, dry cured sausage. Some of this will be used as is to make some, well, classical sausage for cooking. And the rest of it we will transform into basically a good portion of saucisson à l'ail. So nice, lovely cured or cooked, sorry, garlic sausage. That's the great thing about working with your mince or making sausage. You can basically, a sausage mixture, you can mix it up and do different things at the same time. So you're not eating, well, 10 pounds or 5 kilos of sausage until you're basically fed up. You can do different things with it, as we will show later on. One thing you can always do to check for seasoning, as we have done, you reserve yourself just a little bit of your mixture, fry it up and taste for seasoning. This is seasoned just nice, little bite of the pepper, but nice. So next port of call, that will be to fill up our casings. Next thing that will be, of course, to fill our casings. Now these are our casings. This is just natural hog intestine, pig intestines. Now they come in a container with a into a saltwater brine. So before we actually fill these, we just want to rinse these into some cool water. First of all, we're loading, of course, our hog casing onto our extension. So for anybody who's ever practiced safe sex, this will probably feel like well, something you've done in the past. So we just slide over our entire casing. We're going to put a little knot on the end, after which we can start actually filling this up. Here you have a short little demo of us filling up the casings. So me is pushing down, the missus is actually just holding down on the sausage with some slow and steady pressure, not too much, and just, well, fill up the casings. So after about a good, well, I think an hour's work, we have 4.5 kilos and 3 nice links of sausages. So these will be for frying or cooking. These are going to be garlic sausage that we're going to cook up later on, and these will be for curing. The only thing that's left, that is, as you can see, to divide our links. Now this is pretty easy. You just pinch where you want to divide, twist one way, take the next one, twist basically the other way around, and so on. So as these are for cooking, as you can see, these links, I know I'm probably not doing the best job, but I'm not a professional butcher, but these are pretty large sausages, so for cooking I'm making short stubby ones, so they will cook evenly. The cured and dried sausage is gonna be another matter. Oh, we burst one. Well, no matter, we will, it happens. We'll use this casing, or we'll use this stuffing for in a pasta sauce, no big deal. So but we just again twist these, divide, and go on.